Hey guys, Lucas here in Venture Surplus, and today we're going to talk about, can you put a plate in a tap? This is a question I got not so long ago on YouTube, and I don't know really why. I haven't ever thought about doing this before, or how this works with the tap, but the answer is yes, obviously, as you can see. So we're going to talk about why you'd even want to do this, and then how to do it. It's pretty simple, and then some considerations based off if you are going to do this, what to you need to pay attention to with the tap, and how to secure that plate. So let's get into why you might even want to do this in the first place. So the why on this one is really just a case-by-case basis, but it comes down to anytime you're thinking about you're going to go from one environment to another that may go from more permissive to more kinetic, or more the chest rig is all you need, to maybe it's going to be a little more high threat. This is one of those situations where, up-armoring makes a lot of sense. So as you saw in the intro where we forgot to turn the sound on, I added in what I could to kind of make that work. But forgive us for the intro being quiet. But yeah, so if you think about it, like, a chest rig makes a lot of sense for rucking around mountains like this, walking around doing patrols, but the threat of going into a more kinetic environment is a realistic thing. So being able to carry at least some form of actual ballistic protection makes a lot of sense. So whether or not you're wearing a helmet, or you are already wearing a helmet like I was in the intro, or you're going about that business, being able to up armor is pretty cool. And if you have the ability to, why not take advantage of that capability? So the ATAP or the TAP can do it, and yeah, let's see. But just think about that, like, the reason you might want to do this, or with any chest rig that is capable of doing this, is when you're moving from a less or more permissive, less of a threat environment into a more high threat environment, and you have the capability to at least carry a plate. Now you can only put one plate in here. You can't, you could rig up a back plate situation if you really wanted to, but as it is, you can put your plate in there. That's going to stop something if your plate is rated to, not take soft armor, just plate only kind of deal, and you have some form of protection. So yeah, let's cover how it works, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. Does this apply to you? Is this something that you might want to use a capability of? Because all we're really doing here is taking advantage of a not built-in capability, but a capability that TAP has, and just using it to full effect. So let's take a look at how this even goes in there and some things to consider. So it's pretty simple, as I saw in the intro again. So the rear admin pocket on the TAP is pretty dang big. It's a pretty squared off section as well. It's a pretty big pocket. It is a mesh back, and then you have at least a good tape seam here coming down to secure that to it, and then a pretty decent seam coming down here. So it is secured on three sides pretty well. I would tell you, this is not, don't do this in place of carrying, having a plate carrier in the first place. This is just one of those things where it's a capability it has, but I wouldn't be using this for like a, that's how I'm gonna rock plates. An RV is something that does this very well. It has actually a built-in plate pocket on the back end to carry a plate. It's built in, it's purpose-built, it's durable, and it's made to hold it to your chest very well. So really kind of just making the ATAP even more into an RV than it already has been, as far as I'm using it, and just using a capability that's there. So take your plate, and this is a 10 by 13, right? 10 by 12 plate. So all of your standard mediums are going to fit in here pretty well. There is a little wiggle room if you have a slightly bigger plate, but yeah, shove that back there. Fits in that pocket pretty well. Once you got the buckles out of the way, and now you have a plate in your TAP. I've gone about a very simple securement method, and all I've done is taken some good shot cord, looped it in the webbing right here, come over, punched a hole in the hook section on the hook and loop. I did that right there because that plastic backing on the hook is going to be pretty sturdy surface, so punching a hole through that and the webbing, it's not going to wear through a bigger hole quicker or very quickly. It's going to be a pretty durable section to hold this shot cord. And then I just tighten that down, and with the curvature and everything, I'm not going to really feel this drum lock. It's going to be pretty easy. You can, I did see somebody after I posted this on Instagram, they're like, hey, I went another step higher, and they took the front flap, they took a buckle and weaved it onto this strap here, and they took one of those hook and loop adapters that come in the Marine Corps TAP kit when you buy it brand new or get it brand new, and just attach it here, kind of secure it a little additionally. And now they had an actual buckle attachment to hold on to the plate, so it's definitely a lot more secure. This shock cord solution, it does the trick, but it's nothing, you know, terribly wild. But again, this is a really expedient method of putting a plate in something that wasn't necessarily made to take a plate in the first place. From there, when you wear your harness, this is a knockoff Cry Airlight harness. I don't recommend this. I had to replace every buckle just to make it work because the Chinesian buckles were not in spec. But yeah, so when you wear your harness on there too, against your body, it's gonna hold that plate pretty secure to you. So once you put this on, it's a good field expedient, low effort and not a lot to it method of putting a plate and having some form of ballistic protection. Now, I am wearing, again, this is a knockoff Airlight, so it has a little bit of features to it that help do this. I would say if you're wearing your chest rig a little loose, with the idea that you might do this, will be a good idea because you are going to add some bulk to the front. This is about 1 inch thick as it is, so it's going to push it out. So with this harness, it has elastic built in that takes up some of that bulk. If you're wearing a more standard H harness from your favorite company on your TAP, just know that it might tighten that chest rig up on you pretty hard if you're already wearing it high and tight. So if this is something you want to do, I would loosen that harness up a tad bit, and then that way when you put the plate in there, it's going to fit very comfortably, going to fit where you want the plate to fit in the first place. So yeah, it's pretty dang simple. I mean, it fits in there. It's pretty secure. It's not hard to do not hard to add a method to further secure it that's going to be able to just be worn on the TAP at all times, or you could do an additional buckle method that you can take off and replace as needed. But yeah, it's just a way to get more out of your TAP because we're just taking advantage of a inherent, not necessarily intended capability of the TAP, and taking full advantage of it. But yeah, pretty cool. I figured I'd do a short little video on it because it is neat. Let's close this video out though. All right, so to close this out, again, pretty simple. It's up to you if this is something that you might want to do, or you know, it makes sense for you. Again, the RV is probably the best chest rig for this purpose. If you really want to have this built-in capability in your chest rig, the RV does it very exceedingly well. The only thing about the RV is it can be a little picky when it comes to getting what plate fits in here best and kind of breaking in the chest rig. This, you know, it doesn't really need any break-in period, and it wears pretty well. So if you don't have an RV but kind of want that capability, the TAP can do it at the end of the day. I just want to use it for, you know, I want to rock your TAP like this all the time just because it's not made to support that additional weight in that back admin pocket. There are a couple other chest rigs out there these days that can kind of do this. I think Tracer Tactical has one that does this, that is built around this kind of concept of being able to put a plate in there. But yeah, so kind of pick your flavor. If you have a TAP, you know, it's just one more thing you can do with your TAP that really does a good job and makes a lot of sense if you need to do this. So yeah, check out links below if you want to pick up TAP. You don't have a TAP, you want to pick one up because now this is what finally sold you on a TAP. You can pick one up and sign up for emails while you're over there, because that's how you're going to know about the new stock, restocks, latest things we've got going out, sales, and everything in between. Go on our emails, and they go out about every day. And yeah, just make sure you subscribe, comment, like. Anything else you want to see in the future, make sure you leave a comment below. And appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.